are you?
sir. I'm well, how are you?
I'm okay.
I'm liking this like casual-ish look today.
Comfort defines my fashion style.
Hollywood loves a mystery, and Brad Pitt's love life has always kept fans guessing. From whirlwind flings to star-studded weddings, he's been linked to countless names, but one woman stood above them all. After decades of speculation, Brad has finally spoken, admitting she was the love of his life. Join us as we explore this revelation and the unforgettable story behind the man and the woman who captured. The woman, Brad Pitt, never truly let go. Some relationships end quietly, others explode under pressure, and then there are the rare ones that never fully disappear, no matter how much time passes. In 2007, 2 years after his divorce from Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt made a revealing comment in an interview with V magazine. "Jen and I still maintain a deep friendship and have a lot of life together that isn't erased in any way," he said. It wasn't dramatic or defensive, it was reflective, almost tender. For a couple whose split had dominated headlines worldwide, those words carried weight. Their marriage may have ended, but the history they shared clearly hadn't been erased. Jennifer had been equally honest. In 2006, in a candid interview with Vanity Fair, she admitted that she still loved Brad, and always would. The divorce had been painful and intensely public, but she never tried to diminish what they had. Instead, she acknowledged it as something meaningful. Real love, even when it ends, doesn't simply vanish. When they married in 2000, Brad and Jennifer were more than just celebrities. They were Hollywood's golden couple. He was one of the biggest movie stars in the world. She was television's sweetheart on Friends. Together, they seemed balanced, glamorous, yet grounded, powerful, yet playful. Their Malibu wedding, complete with fireworks over the ocean, felt like a modern fairy tale. So when they announced their separation in January 2005, the shock was immediate. Their joint statement emphasized mutual respect and love, but speculation quickly overshadowed everything. Brad's growing connection with Angelina Jolie became tabloid fuel, and the media frenzy turned their private heartbreak into global entertainment. Yet, in the aftermath, what stood out wasn't hostility, it was restraint. Neither of them publicly tore the other down. Jennifer rarely spoke with bitterness. Brad didn't erase their history. In an industry where breakups often spiral into public feuds, their approach felt surprisingly mature. Years passed, careers evolved, lives shifted dramatically. Brad entered a new relationship and built a large family. Jennifer focused on her work and rebuilt her personal life away from chaos. It seemed like their chapter had closed for good. But the public never fully let it go. In 2017, after Brad separated from Angelina Jolie, Jennifer's name immediately resurfaced beside his. Social media reignited with nostalgic clips and early 2000s red carpet interviews. Fans revisited old photos, remembering the warmth they once shared. It wasn't just gossip. It was collective memory. Then, in February 2019, Brad attended Jennifer's 50th birthday celebration. It was meant to be private, a quiet gathering of close friends, but once news broke, it felt symbolic. To many, it suggested forgiveness, growth, a bond that had softened rather than shattered. The moment that truly reignited global fascination came in January 2020 at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Jennifer won for The Morning Show. Brad also took home an award that night. Backstage, they crossed paths, and cameras captured their reunion. They embraced warmly. They laughed. At one point, Brad gently held Jennifer's hand as she walked away. The moment was brief, but it felt cinematic. Within minutes, the images went viral. Millions analyzed every glance and smile, searching for signs of something more. Later that year, they reunited virtually for a table read of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Playing flirtatious characters, their chemistry sparked once again. The exchange was playful and effortless, reminding audiences of the ease they once shared. Still, both maintained they were simply friends. Through it all, Jennifer continued to speak of Brad with grace. She once said, "I love Brad. I really love him. I will love him for the rest of my life." Not as a declaration of longing, but as an acknowledgement of something foundational. Some relationships shape you permanently. To the public, their story became one of Hollywood's greatest what-ifs. Not because it was flawless, but because it felt real. It represented a moment when two people seemed aligned, before ambition, timing, and circumstance pulled them apart. Some love stories don't end with finality, they end with echoes. And perhaps that's why, even decades later, the sight of Brad and Jennifer standing in the same room still captures attention. Not necessarily because people expect a reunion, but because they remember what once was. But to understand why their connection left such a lasting imprint, we have to go back to the beginning, to the height of their love, when everything seemed possible. Because what they shared at their peak might explain why this story never truly faded. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, when Hollywood believed in forever. Before Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston became one of Hollywood's most celebrated couples, they were rising stars in their own right, navigating the dizzying lights of fame. Brad had already captivated audiences with films like Legends of the Fall, Seven, and Fight Club, establishing himself as one of Hollywood's most magnetic leading men. Jennifer, meanwhile, had stolen hearts worldwide as Rachel Green on Friends, quickly becoming a beloved household name. Timing, as it often does in matters of love, would play a crucial role in their story. Their first meeting in the mid-1990s came through their managers, a polite introduction with little immediate spark. Jennifer would later recall Brad as a sweet, normal guy from Missouri. Though unremarkable at the time, that first encounter planted a seed that would blossom years later. By 1998, the stars had aligned. Jennifer had ended her relationship with Tate Donovan, and Brad's engagement to Gwyneth Paltrow had ended the year before. When they reconnected through their managers, the chemistry was immediate. Jennifer described their first date to Diane Sawyer as easy and fun, filled with natural conversation, laughter, and a comfort that hinted at something rare, a connection that felt effortless and genuine. Hollywood noticed. In September 1999, Brad and Jennifer made their official red carpet debut at the Emmy Awards. Fans didn't just cheer, they celebrated. The golden movie idol and America's favorite sitcom star seemed destined to be together. 2 months later, at a Sting concert in New York, they announced their engagement. Jennifer's dazzling diamond and platinum ring, designed by Sylvia Damiani, reportedly took Brad 7 months to perfect. It was more than a symbol of love. It was a promise of a shared future, a tangible representation of the fairy tale everyone believed in. On July the 29th, 2000, their Malibu wedding became a fairy tale come to life. Nearly 200 guests attended the lavish event, featuring a gospel choir, fireworks over the California sky, and nearly 50,000 flowers arranged in breathtaking displays. Jennifer's father, John Aniston, proudly walked her down the aisle, calling her radiant. The $1 million celebration cemented their status as Hollywood royalty, a couple whose love seemed larger than life. Publicly, they were perfection. On red carpets, they were inseparable, sharing glances and laughter that convinced the world they were living the dream. Behind the scenes, they co-launched Plan B Entertainment alongside producer Brad Gray. Initially seen as a display of their combined star power, the company grew into one of Hollywood's most respected production houses, responsible for acclaimed films like The Departed and 12 Years a Slave. Together, Brad and Jennifer seemed unstoppable in both love and career. Yet even the most golden romances have cracks. In 2003, Jennifer hesitated when asked by W Magazine if Brad was the love of my life. She described him as a big love, but chose her words carefully, hinting at underlying uncertainty. Rumors began circulating, especially as Brad filmed Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie. The undeniable on-screen chemistry sparked speculation, feeding tabloids and fan fascination. By January 2005, Brad and Jennifer announced their separation after nearly 5 years of marriage. Their joint statement requested privacy and dismissed tabloid speculation. In March, Jennifer filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, finalized in October. Her Vanity Fair interview revealed the rawness of her heartbreak. She described herself as cracked open, forced to feel the pain fully. Photos of Brad with Angelina in Kenya, taken weeks after the separation, intensified the sting. Yet Jennifer maintained grace, refusing to vilify him publicly. The world couldn't let go of their story. Their marriage symbolized a golden era of Hollywood love, two of the most beloved stars in a picture-perfect union. Though the chapter ended, the glow of their love remained, a reminder of how fragile even the brightest romances can be under fame and circumstance. Fans debated endlessly, questioning whether fate had been unfair, whether a love so iconic could have survived. Even as time moved on, Every shared moment between them seemed to spark whispers of nostalgia. Award show encounters, casual photos, and interviews where they spoke kindly of each other reminded the public that their bond had never completely faded. Their golden romance became a cultural touchstone, a story of love, heartbreak, and enduring affection, often referenced whenever celebrity couples faced challenges in the public eye. It wasn't just a love story, it was a blueprint of the highs and lows of life in Hollywood, with all its glamour, pressure, and scrutiny. While Jennifer and Brad moved forward with their lives, the world watched, captivated by their lingering connection. Every appearance together after the split reignited hope and speculation, suggesting that perhaps their story wasn't truly finished. Their golden romance remained unforgettable, etched into the memory of a generation of fans who grew up watching their love unfold. As one chapter of Brad Pitt's life closed, another began. A romance that would captivate the world and dominate headlines, his whirlwind love story with Angelina Jolie. But before the world could fully grasp that tale, memories of Brad and Jennifer, the golden couple whose love left an indelible mark, remained unforgettable. Could this next chapter with Angelina Jolie ever eclipse the history and intensity of his first great love? The story that followed would consume Hollywood and redefine celebrity romance as we knew it. The Brangelina era, Hollywood's most explosive romance. By the early 2000s, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were two of Hollywood's most prominent stars, each with an aura that seemed untouchable. When they met on the set of the spy thriller Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004, the chemistry was immediate and electric. Playing a married couple who were secret assassins, their on-screen connection sparked curiosity and speculation. But the truth behind the cameras was far more complicated. Brad was still married to Jennifer Aniston, and Angelina had recently ended her marriage to Billy Bob Thornton. Despite the complexities, a bond began to form, one that would soon dominate tabloids and captivate millions around the globe. Angelina, in a 2007 interview with Vogue, admitted that she hadn't anticipated such a deep connection. "I didn't know much about exactly where Brad was in his personal life," she said, "but it was clear he was with someone he loved and respected deeply. At the time, both insisted they were only friends, yet the foundation of their future relationship was quietly taking shape." On January 7, 2005, Brad and Jennifer publicly announced their separation. By March, Jennifer had officially filed for divorce, finalized by October of that year. The world watched as Brad's life began to shift, while Angelina quietly focused on her growing family. She had adopted her first son, Maddox, from Cambodia in 2002 and welcomed Zahara, a daughter from Ethiopia, in the summer of 2005. Brad's involvement in this journey brought him closer to Angelina's world, drawing them together in a way that transcended romantic sparks. They were building a life rooted in shared care and commitment. By early 2006, the connection became formalized. Brad filed to legally adopt Maddox and Zahara, with the Los Angeles judge approving the name change to Jolie Pitt. "It's the idea that you love one another and you want to create a family together," a friend explained to People. "What's beautiful is you can do it by birth or adoption." That same year, on May the 27th, Brad and Angelina welcomed their first biological child, daughter Shiloh, born in Swakopmund, Namibia. Her name, meaning the peaceful one, marked the beginning of what the media quickly labeled the Brangelina era. The family continued to grow. By 2008, with 4 children and twins on the way, Brad and Angelina leased Chateau Miraval, an 880-acre French estate complete with vineyards, olive groves, fountains, a lake, and even a moat. Valued at approximately $70 million, the estate became both a home and a symbol of their shared life and ambition. At the Cannes Film Festival that year, Angelina revealed that French had become a second language in their household, hinting that their children might be born in France, where they ultimately welcomed the twins. In 2012, Brad and Angelina purchased Chateau Miraval outright and launched Miraval Wines, expanding their empire beyond Hollywood. That same year, after 7 years together, the couple announced their engagement. Brad's manager confirmed, "Yes, it's confirmed. It is a promise for the future, and their kids are very happy. There is no date set at this time." Angelina's engagement ring, a custom piece estimated at over 10 carats, symbolized their monumental commitment. 2 years later, the couple married in a private ceremony at the chapel of Chateau Miraval on August 23, 2014. Only 20 guests attended, including their 6 children. Family was at the heart of their wedding. Maddox and Pax walked their mother down the aisle. Zahara and Vivian were flower girls, and Shiloh and Knox carried the rings. Even the wedding cake was a family effort, baked by Pax, while all 6 children helped write their parents' vows. Angelina's gown, crafted by Atelier Versace tailor Luigi Massi, was embroidered with drawings from the children. "Luigi is like family to me," Angelina explained. "I couldn't imagine anyone else making this dress. He knows and cares for the children, and it was great fun putting it together." Their life together seemed larger than life. Brad and Angelina became a cultural phenomenon, the ultimate Hollywood power couple. They built not only a family, but a business empire, balancing careers, charity work, and parenting with apparent ease. Their story captivated fans worldwide, with every milestone, the children, the estate, the wedding, dominating headlines. Yet behind the glitz and glamour, they navigated a relationship under the constant gaze of public scrutiny, a pressure that would later take a toll. The intensity of their love and their ambitious lifestyle created an image of a perfect union, yet even the strongest relationships faced challenges. While they seemed unstoppable, the seeds of tension and the demands of celebrity life foreshadowed future struggles. Despite their remarkable achievements, both as individuals and as a family, cracks would eventually emerge, testing their commitment and resilience. As Brad and Angelina's story unfolded, it became clear that this was a love unlike any other, a whirlwind romance that captured the imagination of Hollywood and the world. But even the brightest flames can face storms. What ultimately led this extraordinary relationship to unravel? And how did it all end in heartbreak and courtrooms? The next chapter would reveal the shocking conclusion to a love that had once seemed invincible. When love turns to legal battles. Even the brightest Hollywood love stories can face unexpected storms, and for Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, their fairy tale romance eventually collided with reality. After years of building a family, a business, and a shared life at Chateau Miraval, the couple's relationship came to a sudden and shocking halt. On September the 20th, 2016, Angelina filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences and requesting primary physical custody of their 6 children. She did not seek spousal or child support, yet the filing sent shockwaves across the entertainment world, signaling the end of an era that had captivated millions. Brad Pitt responded with a statement filled with heartbreak, emphasizing that his focus remained on the well-being of their children. He asked the media for privacy, hoping to shield his family from public scrutiny. But behind the scenes, the reality was far messier than anyone could see. Their separation marked the start of an extensive legal battle that would stretch on for years, highlighting how even seemingly perfect relationships can unravel under the pressures of fame, differing priorities, and public attention. The custody disputes became particularly contentious, with rulings often contested in court. In 2021, a judge initially granted Pitt more visitation rights, only for the decision to be overturned after Jolie's team revealed undisclosed ties between the judge and Pitt's attorney. Every legal victory seemed temporary, underscoring how delicate and complicated family disputes can become when money, reputation, and emotions intersect. Even their cherished home, Chateau Miraval, became a point of conflict. Jolie sold her stake in the estate to an outside party, a move Pitt claimed violated their agreement and undermined the winery he had passionately built. For Brad, this wasn't just a business issue, it was deeply personal. The vineyard had been a symbol of their shared dreams, and seeing it altered without his consent struck at the heart of what he had invested, emotionally and financially. Despite the divorce being finalized years later, both Brad and Angelina had to navigate the lasting emotional impact. Jolie was reportedly exhausted but relieved, while Pitt had to confront the loss of not just a marriage, but an entire life they had constructed together. Their story reminds the world that even glamorous relationships filled with love, children, and shared accomplishments can fracture under pressure. After all the legal wrangling, heartbreak, and public scrutiny, it raises a poignant question. Amid all the highs and lows of fame, family, and love, could Brad Pitt's heart have truly been anchored elsewhere all along, toward the one who never left his thoughts? Jennifer Aniston? Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into Brad Pitt's love life and the stories behind Hollywood's most talked about relationships. If you loved this video, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a celebrity story. And while you're here, check out the next video on your screen to catch more inside scoops on your favorite stars.